Our motoring tip concerns idling, and this week it's from Carl Main, one of our viewers. He's emailed us and asked us, I'd like to see a segment on remote starters and if engines are being damaged by sitting and idling. I keep hearing it's better to drive right away if the windows are clear. So Carl, on an upcoming episode, we're going to touch on the remote starter part of your question, but let's just stick to the idling part right here. So, of course, idling, whether it's a cold start or at any time, is 0 miles per gallon, so we try to avoid that as much as possible. However, I think your question here is about warming up the car because you're tying it into the remote car starter thing. And of course, the car does warm up better, the vehicle does warm up better and more efficiently if it's under load and being driven. Now, of course, we've got to clear the windows in order to have the vehicle to be safe to drive, so that's often our limiting factor. However, if you come out and the windows are already clear, should you put it in gear and go right away? Well, 45 seconds to a minute is more than enough time for the engine, especially with modern engines with electronic engine control and fuel injection, which is everything since the mid-80s. They carburate and handle fuel. They drive away properly with minimal warm-up time, or in most cases, 0 warm-up time. Now, in terms of the engine, it's still better in some cases to get some of the engine internals up to temperature a little bit. So I personally like to see that temp gauge just come off the bottom. I like to see it start to get onto the scale just a little bit before I drive away. But if it's minus 20 out, that can take several minutes just for that to happen. But I'm an engine guy, and I like to keep cars forever in a day, so things are a little bit different for me. Now, you want to make sure, of course, that you've always got the correct grade of oil, that it's clean, that everything's proper on the engine. You've got a good cooling system thermostat so that engine will come up to temperature properly. You're still best to put it in gear and drive it away, but always make sure your limiting factor is safety and getting all those windows clear, which is part of what you alluded to in your question. That's the motoring tip of the week.